How to make or lose 20 grand on your first major purchase. Maybe you want to make 20 grand, maybe you want to lose 20 grand. Entirely up to you. Let's say you're 19, 23, 27, 35, you're looking to buy your first major car, maybe purchasing your first home, you're not too sure how to go about doing it, what maybe it looks like. You've probably gone to a dealership and they've been like, yeah, we can get you financing, no problem. Of course they can. You can get a turtle finance. It's not possible not to get financed at a car dealership. There's a reason for that. You don't make your payments, they come to your car back, they sell it to somebody else. It's not a big deal. They don't really care. I'm sure they're there to help you, but it's probably an investment that you're going to lose on pretty big. Last week I'm showing a basement suite I'm renting to a couple. The couple rolls up, they're in their late 30s. They're driving a 1-year-old Mustang GT 6.0 liter, 6-speed. I'm pretty sure those are the facts the guy tried to mesmerize you with. As he's spewing this out, he's pretty sure he's impressing me until he goes on to point out the fact that his girlfriend's hours got cut back and he chose to be unemployed so that unemployment insurance would pay for some sort of training for him. I'm not too sure how it works. Anyway, the point of the story is they're now living in their friggin' car. They were more interested in looking good driving around in their 1-year-old Mustang than they were in living somewhere maybe possibly respectable and taking the bus or something along those lines. That same week, I'm doing a sales call with a lady who's car shopping around, middle management type, wants to look good, wants to show everybody she made it. She's driving a soft top Camaro. It's winter 8 months of the year where we live, and she's shopping around to find out that she has negative equity in her car. The dealership's more than willing to roll her negative equity over into her new car and refinance her on the other one. So basically she's taking a loss on the other car, carrying that debt, putting it onto a new car payment, and they're bundling all the payments into one. This lady will never be out of debt with her car payments ever in her life, unless some sort of miracle comes around where she runs into a lump sum of cash and decides to pay off her car loan so she can start being a little more wise with her money rather than spending it all on her car. A few weeks before that, I'm having dinner with the family. My nephew's talking about buying a vehicle. He's 19, great idea. At 19, I made a really good decision and bought a car off a dealership with a Visa card. I'm pretty sure I'm still paying for that. So I'm trying desperately to talk about it a bit. So I'm going to break down some numbers here so you have a little better idea of what it takes to maybe purchase a car and what you're into for it, opposed to maybe buying a house. I went to a website online, goauto.ca. They're pretty straightforward. They also sell cars. They're pretty straightforward about what it's going to cost you. They take an average interest rate of 6.99 on a used vehicle, and that's how they calculate their interest. So I broke down on their website. If you have a $40,000 car at 6.99% with zero down payment, plus 5% GST, which is what we pay where I live, your payment's going to come out to roughly $716 a month. Or over the course of that loan, you're going to pay $9,552 in interest on top of a vehicle that's depreciating in value. $20,000 car, same deal, zero down, GST, 72 monthly payments. Works out to be about $358 a month for the car, and you'll pay $4,766 interest payments on your depreciating investment of a $20,000 car. Same details on a $10,000 car, 6.99%, zero down, 5% GST, works out to be $178 a month, or $2,300 roughly interest paid. Let's say you want to buy a new car. New car, really nice. Who's want to drive a new car? I've actually never owned a new car. I'm sure it'd be fantastic, but I've never once owned a brand new vehicle. You can typically get 0% financing on a new car. That's not a bad deal. Car dealership's not stupid. You're also probably not going to get money off the top. On top of that, you're going to pay a pretty standard rate, 0% financing. The typical depreciation value of a vehicle is 15 to 25% a year, or about 65% after 5 years. The dealership that I talked to was willing to do a loan over 84 months. I think that's 7 years, if I'm not correct. So your vehicle would be 7 years old once it's paid off and lost about 75% of its value. If you break down the numbers on that, let's say a brand new Dodge 1500 half-ton pickup truck, not top of the line, but not a bad one, run you about $60,000. On 0% down with the 0% financing and 5% GST, even over 60 months, that's going to work out to be just over $1,000 a month in payments. You take a loss on that at about 40 grand, $39,000 of loss in value by the time you pay that off in 60 months. Now your vehicle's worth about $24,000 and you've now paid it off. Over 7 years, that's an 84 month $750 a month and about a $45,000 loss on the value of your vehicle. Now it's worth about 15 grand after 7 years of owning that car. Do the same numbers on a $40,000 vehicle, 0% down, 0 interest, 5% GST. For 60 months, that works out to be about $700 a month, about a $26,000 loss, and worth about 14 grand when you're done. Over 84 months or 7 years, the payments are going to be $500 a month, about a $30,000 loss. Now it's worth about 10 grand. I don't know if you're getting this, but the math's adding up terribly in this vehicle purchase. Now let's do the same numbers on a house. Let's say you want to buy a condo, a duplex, a new starter home, something along those lines, and you find a house. It's worth about 200 grand. That's a pretty, where I live, that's a pretty entry-level townhouse, condominium, something along those lines. For the first-time home buyer, I went onto a website called mortgageintelligence.ca and used their calculation tool to break down the math on it. And it's pretty simple, it's pretty laid out, it kind of breaks down all the payments for you. If you had an average interest rate on a $200,000 house of about 3.99, that's a little bit high right now, but that's not a terrible average to go with. 5% down is going to be about 10 grand on that house, or $190,000 to borrow. 190 grand at 3.99% makes your payments about $1,000 over 25 years. If you're just doing the straight math on that, naturally you're going to redo the mortgage every maybe 5 years or so and recalculate on your balance. But just for easy math, we'll do 190 grand at 3.99%, $1,000 over 25 years. If you never remortgage this, let's say you would pay something like 100 grand in interest rate along those lines. It's going to be less than this, but just to be fair, let's say you paid 100 grand. You're thinking to yourself, oh my God, I paid 100 grand in interest rate. It gets better, we'll find a way to get somebody else to pay for that. You're thinking to yourself, okay, cool, I want to buy a house, 10 grand, where am I going to get 10 grand from? I have like $1,500 in the bank, I prefer to drink and smoke opposed to maybe putting away a little money to the side. What am I going to do? Well, glad you asked. Let's say you want to save the 10 grand yourself. If you want to do that over 1 year, you have to put aside about $833 a month, or a little less than the payments on your brand new pickup truck. Over 2 years, your payments to yourself are going to be $416 a month, or slightly more than the payments on the $20,000 car. If you're having a hard time maybe not spending that dough, give it to your parents, give it to somebody you like, put it in some sort of savings bond that's locked in for 2 years so you can't take it out at all. There's a couple different ways to put your money aside so you don't blow it all of a sudden. Don't want to wait that long? Maybe you're a little more ambitious, maybe you got a little more energy, maybe you're a little more clever. You could probably find yourself an investor or something along those lines. You're in a pretty unique situation as a first-time buyer. You can generally get financing from 0 to 10% down in your first place, typically around 5%. If you're looking for an investor, that's very enticing to them. Anyone who wants to buy, say, maybe a second property is going to have to be into it for 20-25% down. So to partner up with someone who can be into a place for 5% down is a really enticing deal. If you go and talk to someone who's in the property market and is buying houses or buying homes or owns some real estate, there's a pretty good chance that they're more than happy to partner up with you on a deal on a house where you go 50-50. Maybe they're going to put up the entire down payment, and when the mortgage comes due or for renewal, or maybe when the place sells, they get their initial investment back out and you got to split the difference on the money that's made on top of it. Another way to look at it is if maybe you're a little more ambitious, you can go around, do your own research, find a deal. If you find a deal on a place where it's worth less than, or it's for sale for less than it's actually worth, the probability of finding an investor for that deal who's going to go in and buy the place with you is astronomical. Anyone who's in the real estate market is always looking for a deal. If you find it, you propose it to them, you want to go 50-50 with them, there's an extremely likely chance that they're going to do that deal with you. I've done it, it works, it's definitely possible. Let's say you get that place and you're like, well, my God, how am I going to pay these payments? $1,000 every month, that's crazy. Who wants to be on the hook for that? What if I want to leave town for a week? What if I want to go on holidays for a month? Something along those lines. There's quite a few ways you can do it actually. Let's say you bought a 5-bedroom duplex. There's 5 rooms in the place. You're 21 years old. You're like, you can rent some space with my buddies. You rent out the 4 rooms at $500 a month. You're bringing in $2 grand. That's going to more than cover your payments on the place for the month in terms of mortgage and bills. Let's say your payments are 500 bucks every 2 weeks or so. Your insurance is around 160 bucks a month. Your water, sewer, and garbage is around 100 bucks a month. Your gas is about 130. Electricity around 70 bucks a month. Your cable 50. Your internet 80. Let's say your average repairs in a year are about 75 bucks a month. Your total bills for that place every month are going to be about $1,670 or so. So you rent rooms out, 4 rooms to your buddies for 500 bucks a piece. That's $2,000 coming in. So you're making money off the place you're living in now. I don't think you could rent 5 rooms out in your car and make the same money back on it. Let's say you're like, what? Who's got 4 friends that want to live in a place? And maybe you hate your friends. You put a little basement suite in your place. You put a wall in, or put a door up, or put a lock on the basement door. Put a couple of appliances down there. You rent the basement out for say $1,000 a month, and then you have one roommate, 1,500 bucks a month. Now your place is costing you $168 a month, and that's the price of owning your home. 5 years down the road, or 60 months, the same as what your car payments would be, where your car's now lost 70% of its value, the probability that your house is appreciating in value is extremely high. I have a $200,000 property. After 5 years, it appreciated $40,000, at the same time as paying down the mortgage. So if I want to renew the mortgage, I can now take out the equity in my house, which is about $25,000, and that could essentially buy my car if I was interested in buying one, or you could roll over into your next house. Depending on how you look at it, I'll break down the numbers on the screen here, and it's pretty easy to see that purchasing a house as a first-time buyer, opposed to purchasing a new car as a first-time buyer, is going to be definitely a greater investment in the long run. You just need a little more discipline. Any questions? Just comment below.